Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukenes certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable. Welcome to a brand new season of Sidecar Motocross 2023. A quick look back at last year. It was a very short season, 5 rounds, 15 races, all sorts of drama. Let the pictures tell the story of what was a very, very exciting season, resulting in Etienne Bax and Andre Chermak coming out champion. Now we find ourselves in Talavera de la Reina in Spain. We're in the sun indeed, the most marvellous, marvellous place. Motocross track is literally a couple of kilometres outside the town. They've hosted all sorts of action here, but the people welcomed us, the sun was shining, and it was kick-starting the most glorious, glorious 2023 season ahead of us. There's no better place to be at the start of a brand new season than in the home of the man who has everything to fight for, in fact, a title to defend. I'm here in Etienne Bax's awning. Etienne, when we spoke last year, you said a long season would be perfect. Well, you've got one this year.
Yeah, great. You know, I'm really happy about that. And 14 GPs, I think it's a good marker. And, you know, then you are in a good rhythm and you can fight for all season long. You know, if you have only 6 races or 4 races, what we had in the past, then the gaps between the races are too long. So I'm really happy that we are back like the old system. And, yeah, I'm happy to be here in the first GP of the season.
And it's a strong field. Pretty much nobody is missing, maybe with one exception, but good strong names and some new young talent.
Yeah, you know, it's great. You know, always in the end of the season people think maybe to quit or to stop, but actually on the beginning of season everybody is there again. So yeah, it's good to have in Spain, Portugal 34 teams and present, so I'm happy.
Marvin van Lukenes and Robbie Bax fought very, very hard last year, but were unable to close down Etienne. Passenger change for Marvin this year, but he's got a World Championship class man on board. Have you been out testing with Nico?
Yeah, for sure. We had a very good winter. Yeah, but Nico feels everything perfect from the first moment already. So, yeah, I think we are ready for the new season.
You're hungry. There's only one goal for you. You know what it is. I know what it is. How are you going to achieve it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think everyone knows it by our team what the goal is, and we will try everything for that. Finally, it's again a long season, so yeah, we're looking forward for it.
On that note, long season. Are you happy with that? You prefer a long season?
Yeah, for sure. Now it's like before, and I think for a nice GP year, you need a lot of races with a lot of traveling. It's hard for everyone, but yeah, that's. Means that it will be the the right champion on the end of the year.
Well, that's okay. Come on, pick him up. Let's introduce him. Come along now. Is there a birthday? There's a birthday coming up, I gather.
Yeah, next week in Portugal he will be 2 years. So I hope for sure there will be some celebration, but I hope some extra celebration on Sunday evening.
I'm with Brett Wilkinson from the UK. In 2022, he started that season really, really strongly, and I would expect him to do no less, if even better, this year. What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, hoping we can be further up on the podium. Last year we was a third in Marcello, and yeah, if we can be better than that, it'd be amazing, yeah.
You've got Joe Millard alongside, passenger tried and tested, you know each other well. The bike, any changes to that?
Not so much, no, just different plastic and a little bit slimmer in the bike. But other than that, same engine, same chassis. So,
what do you think your personal formula is to really achieve a top 5 and even go on better than that, stronger finish?
Yeah, if we can finish, I think, every GP in the top 5, I think then you'll be in with a shout of top 3 in the world at the end of the season. So that's the main goal.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But are you impressed with the field here at the opening? 34 starters?
Yeah, it's great to see. Yeah, normally it's, if you come this far from home, it's normally down in the 20s, so it's good to see 30 plus here.
And what about the long season? 14 rounds, I mean, good, eh?
Yeah, it's good for me, yeah. It's good for Joe. We're both ready for it, so.
Gert van Verven had arguably his best season ever last year. He didn't even know at the end of the year if he'd be back for more or not. Well, he is back, I'm thrilled to say. Back with a new passenger, just as enthusiastic as ever, Gert?
Always. Yeah, it's of course last year was I think the best year I have had together with Ben. It worked out great together, and yeah, for this year I now am with Robert de Vene, a young guy from Belgium. I think he's one of the most talented guys in the field, and he's yeah, ready to show up to take the high level.
And he also more than proved himself towards the end of last season.
Yeah, the Nations he stood in as a help for Koen Hermans, and that's where he showed his talent. And for me, it was yeah, an eye-opener to ask him to go training. And before he asked me also already, and I said, yeah, we'll wait a little bit. And then I saw it in Krummelin, and for me, it was an eye-opener.
And you're staying faithful to the TM power unit?
Yeah, for sure. We have still plenty enough parts, and the feeling is good on the bike. It runs for me, it's perfect, and yeah, when that's all good, then why change?
The long season, I've asked everybody this question. Everyone seems to favour this 14 rounds. It's great news.
Yeah, it will be a long season. I think we all have to settle down, just start quiet, and then throughout the season you have to work on it. It will be a long one, but it's good to be back on so many races after a 1 year stop, 2 years Corona, and now back with 14 GPs. It's just awesome.
Don't start too quietly though, will you?
No, for sure not. But if it's a long season, injuries are very quick there. It's a dangerous sport, so you have to keep an eye on. If you now give everything, it can be over in a second.
Well, can I say the paddock would not be the same without you, so it's good to see you back.
I hope. Thank you.
Koen Hermans is another one of our superstars, like all of us, a year older, back for more, a brand new season. But Koen, what a season. This is going to be a big one, huh?
Yeah, it's a long season. It's finally that time again. I'm really happy to have more GPs. It's better for everyone. So yeah, I'm really looking forward for this year.
Change of passenger. It looks to me as though you have everything in place.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. We did have good winter together, and the feeding was in the first practice already good. We did have to do one race in Eersel, and we won it. So. Yeah, the feeling is really good, and we are also really happy about the engine. We have changed some things, and yeah, now it's really good.
This is the point in the show when we take a look at the track, and I thought there's no one better to talk us through the track than Koen Hermans, who won here on his last visit. It's a pretty spectacular track, and if we look down to that first right-hander, that's a tight turn.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit sandy, so I still like it to have a hot track with a little bit sand, but yeah, it's an amazing corner, and yeah, correct. Then after a really good left corner, so and then we go back to the hard pack.
When I spoke to you earlier, you were saying that there were some difficulties previously passing here because it gets a bit narrow, there's only one line. It looks to me, Koen, as though there's work going on there, preparation. There's a tractor on the track. Whether they're smoothing it or widening it, I don't know, but any improvement will help you, yeah?
I like to see this one because, yeah, like I said before, in my opinion, the track was not really nice prepared. It was a lot of water was on the track and we made one line, so it was not easy to pass because when you came out of the line, then there was a lot of mud, so there was no possibility to ride there. So yeah, I'm happy to see this one and I hope they work on it and we have a really nice track for tomorrow.
Tell us about the jumps. There are some big jumps here. Are they scary? There's a tabletop, there's a triple, there's all sorts, you know?
Well, like, yeah, when you look at it, it's more like a table, but for us it's more a double. I remember the last time we did ride here, it was not so high and so far. Now it's a lot bigger, but yeah, it's a really nice one. It's jumping high in the sky.
Back to the original format of two qualifying races, Groups A and Groups B, and Group A got off the line with an absolute flyer, a bit of a hiccup going down the straight, but it was Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard who stormed round the outside, the left-handed chair thrown into that one. They led Tim Prummer, Janusz Stegmans there in second, from Justin Kuban, Dion Rietman. Those three easing out. Gert van Verven was fourth. Etienne Bax a bit further down the order. The Prunier, the newly crowned French champions, the Prunier boys riding number 94, were in the mix as well. But what a start by Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. They said they wanted to get their season off to a good one, and they certainly did. Tim Prummer, the German, with his Belgian passenger Janusz Stegmans in the orange and blue, in second place, looking very, very strong. They've definitely got the speed. And Justin Kuban, who was getting quicker towards the end of the 2022 season, has brought that form through into this year by the looks of it. Etienne Bax there sporting teleforks instead of the conventional leading link forks that we're so familiar with on these Daniel Willemsen bikes. WSP, of course, Willemsen's brand, but Etienne Bax on Husqvarna, everything Husqvarna, and looking very good, of course. Took the title on it last year. And now they've got company. Bax and Chermak, the number 82, red plate, of course, carrying that because they are the reigning champions. Oh, and they're down! They're down! That looks a badly damaged bike. Etienne Bax and Andre Chermak there in a massive, massive heat. Well, what a catastrophe for them. At the front, though, it's Brett Wilkinson still from Justin Kuban, Dion Rietman, the number 7. Belgian crew. Well, Kuban, what a force he is. Gert van Verven and Robbie de Vena, number 11, a strong third place for them. Tim Prummer, Janusz Stegmans, number 17 crew started so strongly in this race and they were good all the way through free practice as well. This German actually is a quick guy and now we're seeing what he's made of. Race leaders, 199, Wilkinson and Millard. Came into this season with a fresh set of determination, if I can put it that way. They know what they're capable of. All they've got to do is keep it on the island, keep it reliable, and they are going to get good results. Big man Wilkinson, strong Joe Millard, son, of course, of Mark Millard of the famous Millard brothers. Checkered flag then for Wilkinson and Millard in qualifying race 1. Over the line they go. And a great result for Justin Kuban. He and Dion Rietman, class act, no doubt about that. Riding very strongly here. Gert van Verven coming into view. Here we are, the number 11 crew. in the sunshine here, and a good crowd here at Talavera de la Reina to kickstart this 14-round season. Well, a brilliant, brilliant result for them. You can see Bax not classified, of course, because of that crash. He'll be in last chance.
Amazing race for me and Joe. Took the whole shot and never looked back really, rode a strong race. Had a lot of pressure all the way through, but held him off, and in the end I think we won by 8 seconds, so yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, Justin Kubin chased the first half of the race. He was really on your case, wasn't he? But then you got away from him.
Yeah, we kept the pace right through the race the same. I think the laps were pretty consistent, so yeah, we made a good gap in the end, but yeah, he kept us honest, yeah.
When I spoke to you yesterday, you said you liked this track. That was absolutely true, you do.
Yeah, once it dried out and we was able to make the big jumps easy enough, and yeah, now it's enjoyable to ride, so it's nice here.
Away we go then with qualifying race Group B. Who's going to get this one? Well, a full grid streaking towards the front. I can see a great start there by Dan Foden. Dan Foden and Ryan Humphrey are in the middle of that bunch in the all-red strip. But it's Marvin van Lukener. Marvin van Lukener first round the turn. The Neil Bardis boys were in there as well. Koen Hermans also in touch. It's a good start. Was that George Kinge in there? George Kinge in a very, very strong place. Looking for the number 24 crew. Up the hill they go. You can see what Koen Hermans was talking about, just how tight this terrain is. Van Lukener there, a brilliant start. Third place for Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey. There's another young Brit who said his aim was to finish in the top 10 in 2022, which he did, and is carrying that form forward as well. So starting strongly here. Over they go. Daniel and Bruno Leobardis, the 101 crew in the black strip, ahead of Dan Foden, number 10, and Ryan Humphrey, and there right behind them, Klaas Ack, Koen Hermans, and Ben van den Bogart. Another guy who said he was going to quit but didn't. He came back. So Dan Foden riding in very, very fast company. Oh, something's wrong there. Something is wrong there. Something broke. There was nothing when it came over the jump. They almost went over the handlebars. Oh, that's a shame. Dan Foden, Ryan Humphrey out of this qualifying race, so they'll join Etienne Bax in the last chance to make it to the grid for the 2 GP races. Neil Bardis, just 16 years of age, these identical twins, going head-to-head with Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart. Hermans never having won the championship, of course. Ben van den Bogart with 4 titles under his belt. So a lot of experience on that number 3 blue bike. Still on their way. Stuart Brown and Nathan Cooper. Stuart Brown in free practice badly injured his left foot, so he's giving it a bit of a go this time, but not terribly optimistic because it's really, really painful. On his way then, Marvin van Lukener looking supreme actually. If you had any bets going, you'd be wise to put some money on this man for the title, but we've got a long season ahead of us, and as we've all said in the interviews, anything can happen, and invariably does. In third place now, Daniel and Bruno Leobardis. French Prunier boys had a disaster in their qualifying, so they are going to be struggling for the rest of the weekend. But no such trouble for Marvin and Nicolas Mousset, the vastly experienced French passenger. Nico, another one who said he might not come back this year, but you never know, do you? You never know. We all know. Those of us who've been involved in this sport know that it's so addictive, you just can't give it up. Heading for the checkered flag then. Van Lukener Qualifying race B is going to go to him. Koen Hermans right behind him, but then there's a long, long gap back to the Latvian sensational twins, and here they come. 101 then in third, so it's a 1-2-3, Van Luken, Hermans, Lielbalders. There it is confirmed then. You can see the rest of the guys fighting through. Well, of course, Shaver Dan Foden, he'll have to get out in last chance again and share that with Etienne Bax. Good stuff.
The hole should make it much easier, but yeah, we had still some problems with the bike. I lost the seat already from the first lap, so not complete, but he was not on the right place, so it was still hard, and yeah, but we make it.
You knew, I expect, Koen Hermans was coming, but you had a good cushion. It was 6 seconds all the way through. You seemed to control it.
Yeah, on this track you can see on some places where the concurrents are. So yeah, we look comfortable for the race to hold the lead, and yeah, we're looking forward for tomorrow.
Well, yeah, the start was not so good. It could be better, but we find some good lines, and we did go for the second place. And yeah, the feeling was good, but yeah, it was difficult to pass. A lot of mud next of the lines, and that makes it not so easy. But we are still happy. The feeling was good, and we are ready for tomorrow.
It's been a difficult year off-season, hasn't it, for everyone, you know, and particularly you. You've had some problems.
Yeah, I had, but we have fixed everything, and so this weekend is a little bit tough for me, but we can do this, and yeah, we will fight for it.
We're seeing history being made in Spain for this opening Grand Prix, because the first ever all-female team in sidecar motocross are here for Grand Prix. We've never seen it before. As far as I know, it's never happened in a national championship. Sophie de Bosque and Clémentine Tamri have been going very well in France. I'm going to do this interview with the passenger Clémentine because Sophie's English is not good and my French is non-existent. Clémentine, it's great to see you both here. Two ladies, that is fantastic. Are you happy to be here in Spain?
Yes, very happy.
Now tell me, how many seasons have you raced together, you and Sophie?
With Sophie since 5 seasons.
And what brought you to sidecar motocross? How did you both become involved? What was the appeal? How did you find sidecar motocross? Were you always racing?
With my family and friends. And friends.
Okay.
But first family.
It's in the heart. Eh?
Yes.
So that's important.
Yes.
How many races, Grand Prix, will you do this season?
Today in Talavera de la Reina, and next week in Portugal, and 2 in France, Prix and Castelnau de Levis.
Prix, I know very well. I have raced there, but Castelnau, no. Yeah, Prix is fantastic.
Yes.
So I know France very well. It is a real pleasure to see you both.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling for this weekend?
Stressé.
Vous avez peur? Oui?
Yes.
A little.
It's a very speed track.
Yes.
And with a many jump.
Yeah.
So we give better than of me and Sophie too.
Well, I wish you both the very best of luck, and hope to talk to you during the course of the weekend.
Thank you.
Bonne chance.
Merci.
Well, that's it. That is absolutely fantastic. Two ladies. We'll be following them not just this weekend, but right through the season. But very soon, we're going to kick off here in Talavera.
And let's continue with number 11, the TM Italian bike from Netherlands.
Riders' presentation time here in Talavera
And Robbie Devine.
for race day. 2 Grand Prix races ahead of us. The teams get introduced to the crowd, sign the autographs, great atmosphere, and a good crowd here in the sunshine.
Marvin Van Duchen and Nicolas Mutter.
Time to have a look around one or two of the awnings and catch up with one or two of the younger teams. Newly crowned French champions Kilian and Yvon Prunier are no strangers to us, they're certainly no strangers to me, but I just get the feeling that 2023 could be a big Grand Prix season for the brothers. Kilian, you love this track. You told me yesterday you really enjoy it here.
Yeah, a lot. It's a kind of hard part track as we have in France, and a lot of big jumps that we love with Yvon. This is really a kind of track that we love, and we train all the winter. So we take a lot of pleasure on this track.
You've had some good results in GPs, but your strength, your forte, is the hard pack track. There is no doubt about that. Sand is hard for you.
Yeah, sand is really hard for them, because so this is why we planned this winter to train a lot in the sand. Unfortunately, Yvon had some small injuries, so we couldn't train as much as we wanted in the sand. But we will still take a lot of time to train in these conditions.
Where do you see yourselves after the first qualifying yesterday? How do you see yourselves in the field? 5th, 6th, whereabouts? Certainly top 10.
Yeah, certainly top 10. We hope for a good top 10, and we would like to be as close as possible to the top 5. Yeah, around 6, 7, maybe. The goal is to make the best start possible, big start, and if we are first, if we take the Oshers, it's perfection, and staying as long as possible in front of all the GP guys, and if we are just behind them, take their wheels and try to fight as long as possible with them.
We watched Dan Foden all the way through the 2022 season, and he told us he had a personal goal to get in the top 10. Well, he did it, hence the number on the bike. I'm delighted to be here with him, and boy, is he going here at Talavera. Ryan Humphrey seems to have added a little something to you as well, I think.
Yeah, the feeling that me and Ryan have on the bike is like nothing else I've felt with a passenger before. It gives me a really good confidence, so I'm happy. And you had a chain problem, you were really flying, so you had to come to last chance and all the rest of it, all that drama, but you are very much on the pace here. Yeah, we're not too upset about yesterday. Obviously it could have been better, but it's a long season and we had our problems, but we're forgetting about it, we're putting it behind us, and then today's another day.
There's a lot of family support in this team. You can feel the closeness when I come into the awning. Is your plan to do the entire season?
Yeah, that's the plan, obviously. Yeah, we don't see it any other way. We'll be at every race this year, so giving it our all. Yeah, well, you're one of the, if I can say so, one of the young breed coming through, you know, which this sport always needs young talent, and you're certainly one of those. Yeah, 100%, and I want to try and be an advocate for getting other younger riders into the sport, because at the end of the day we need a new generation. So.
Yeah, how do you see things going in Britain? Because we're strong here in this paddock, but the British thing is dying a bit of a death, is it not?
Yeah, it's difficult. Something needs to change in Britain, but there are people working on that. So fingers crossed it's gonna take a turn and it's gonna come good.
Well, that's how they line up. A full grid, 34 riders here. Sadly, Stuart Brown won't be taking to the grid. His foot, although not broken, he sustained severe ligament damage, but you can see the quick boys on the top of the pile. Etienne Bax has recovered somewhat from that massive crash and has sorted the front end of the bike out, but his confidence is bound to be knocked. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. And the ladies, of course, well, a baptism of fire for those two French girls, I think, without a doubt. Let's see what they can do here. Good to see a good lineup, though, here in Talavera. These are the tense times when the riders, the FIM stewards, everyone concerned in this, us included, has a busy weekend ahead of them. The very first Grand Prix race of the 2023 season. They're a qualifying race winner, Brett Wilkinson, and good to see Kurt Varick here, not out of retirement, having a bit of a holiday and a bit of a beer drinking week, I suspect. Here we go then, this is what it's all about. Race 1, watch the gate. As the gate drops, away they go, right in the middle. All down they go. Look at that. George Kinge in the blue and yellow was right in the thick there. And a big tangle over, and Kinge has gone through. Kinge and Paul Horton took the whole shot here. That's Gary Moulds and Lewis Gray upside down. Sven Visselink as well, caught up in that. What a sensational start. Look at that. At number 24, George Kinge and Paul Horton in the yellow and blue, leading, looked like Gert van Verven behind them. The rest of them, Marvin van Lukenen, did not get the best of starts. So that incident into the first turn really sorted everybody out and allowed Kinge, who was already in about 6th place coming down the middle of the straight, to go through and lead the pack. And he's doing a great job. Van Verven, Liel Bardis behind him. Over they go. Brett Wilkinson looking strong as well. That's Brett Wilkinson in 4th place there, he and Joe Millard. Cracking start for them. And the rest of the pack, difficult to identify numbers when they jump so high and so quickly, but there's no doubt at the front. Well, Gert van Verven now. Gert van Verven having muscled his way past Wilkinson in 3rd place on the back of the Liel Bardis boys. But George Kinge still hanging in there. He and Paul Horton doing an absolutely terrific job. It was a good start, but a little bit deeper into the race they've been dropped away as the top guys, as you would expect, come through. But it's so good to see good British talent going well. Dan Foden was going very, very well in qualifying, and where did he get away? Because he'd have started on the 2nd row. There's Van Lukenen. Van Lukenen and Nicolas Mousset, number 2. And they've got their way past Brett Wilkinson. Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. 199. Race leader still, Gert van Verven, number 11. Gert van Verven and Robbie de Vena, newly teamed up together this year on the Italian TM engined machine. Liel Bardis boys do not turn 17 until July. The identical twins from Latvia. Here comes Van Lukenen. Van Lukenen around the outside of Gert van Verven to take the lead, pushing the number 11 back. Liel Bardis still 3rd. Wilkinson still 4th. Good crowd here, loving this one. They've been out with a bulldozer and just flattened out a bit of the track because it was quite tricky on those first few tight turns, making it very difficult to pass. You have to follow the tram lines. Van Lukenen now is away with it. Wilkinson past Liel Bardis, having shoved him down into 4th place. Wilkinson now past Van Verven, up to 2nd. What a start of the season for Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. 2nd year together for those two. Very little changes, so that makes a huge difference. It's a team they know, it's a setup they know. Jason Van Dalen, 7-2-3. He and Kostas Beletskas have been something of a surprise package, not having trained much over the winter, not a full season last year. But Van Dalen with Bax now. Bax somewhat rejuvenated, but still his confidence is a bit knocked after that massive crash which sheared off the front end of the bike. Must be feeling a little bit wary over the big jumps, but Bax is a fighter. He knows that championships are not won in one race, they're won over a 14-round season. 28 races. Van Lukenen still on a mission here and going so well. Nicolas Mousset, of course, such a world-class passenger. World titles under his belt. Van Lukenen, world title under his belt. Looking for another one. The number 2 Belgian then is away with this one. That chase behind though, now going on. It's Liel Bardis in the mix there as well. Coming up behind what looked like Kilian and Yvon Prunier. And the victory taken by Van Lukenen. Waiting for 2nd place to come over. Is it going to be Brett Wilkinson? Could well be. Looks like Brett Wilkinson is coming over to take it. They're coming through Etienne Bax and Andre Jermak, having battled through, kept it sensible to record a 6th place. Fantastic. They were unable to pass Jason Van Dalen, but there it is then. Victory for Van Lucena confirmed. But I go back to George Kinch. What a cracking start for the British crew. Good for them. Keep it up, boys. Van Verven riding like a man possessed again. But Brett Wilkinson could only have gone one better. That'll do for me.
I think it can be started better. The start was very bad for us. I think place 10 or 15, but we had no stress during the race. We did lap by lap, and we can pass a lot of teams. And yeah, we're coming to the lead, and we can hold it to the finish. So yeah, it was quite a hard race, but still good.
Yeah, the start wasn't so good, but there was a bit of a crash in the first corner, and we managed to avoid it and started third or fourth, I think, fourth. And then, yeah, we got up to third, and then there was a little gap to the front two, and we managed to close it. But then Van Lucen come past us all. And then, yeah, we managed to pick off the other two and get into second. And then, yeah, it was a good race, but the last two laps were a bit nervy because we managed to open up a gap, but then we were catching back markers and, you know, we weren't able to do the jumps. And then, Van Werven pulled back on us a bit. But, yeah, really happy. Second place is always good.
Well, what a result. And that's the incident at the start that claimed Gary Moulds.
First in the first corner and second in the second corner, and then immediately halfway the lap I could pass for the lead. And I think it was 24 minutes I lead the race, and that was pretty much intense. It's not a feeling that I used to be, but it was great, and ended up third. It was a perfect start of the season.
Well, perfect start for Marvin Van Lucena, that's for sure. Race 2 to come up here again, another 30 minutes plus 2 laps. Don't go away, put the kettle on, but don't go away too far. We'll be back with race 2. Gate drops then, away they go again. Can Van Lucena get it this time? Where's George Kinch? He's still in the middle there, same place as before, and another good start for the young Brit, but it is the Belgian, Van Lucena, who dives in front. Koen Hermans has gone with him. So Koen Hermans, number 3, who had problems in the first race. The bike was misfiring, it didn't go very well. He had a bit of an upset off the line, then it didn't pull, so he was down on speed, but he's got away this time, shuffling around that first bend. Who's in third place? That looked like Prummer, looked like Tim Prummer there. The German, the number 17 German. It did indeed. He and Jarno Stegmans got a cracking start. They were going very, very well in qualifying as well. Brett Wilkinson again up there. And Gert Van Verven, number 11, in 5th place. Tim Prummer has shown himself to be very fast on this hard pack. Big German with his Belgian sidekick, looking good in third place at the moment, but it's ahead of him is Van Lucena. There's Prummer. Prummer being passed now by Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard, making their way up to third past the German. Another good race here for Wilkinson. Gert Van Verven still in 5th. What a start to the season. Etienne Bax there in red strip this time. 6th place first time out, being quite cautious over the jumps. They took a very, very hard knock yesterday in qualifying, but true champions are back at it again. Still 723 Jason Van Dalen. He and Kostas Beletskas proving to be something of a surprise package here, as the rest of the field make their way round. There's Bax on the inside, having a look now and trying to make his way past the 418 bike. Stefan Vyers, Lert van der Putten, who gated well, but are now in front of the reigning champion. Out in front though, it's still Van Lucena. Jason Van Dalen looking good. There's Jim Prummer dropping back down the field a little bit. Here comes Bax. Those white power teleforks looking good over the jumps here. New lightweight suspension for this year for Etienne Bax. And the Husqvarna about as light as you can get it. Probably the lightest bike in the race. Difficult to pass, you can see. Just one track here. Get in the tram lines and you're going to have to pick your way through. What can Bax do? Getting somewhat frustrated, but he can't afford to get frustrated. Picked off another place though, moving steadily up the order. Race leader, Van Lukena, Nicola Muset. This is going to be a fantastic result for them if they bring it home. There's a very big if always in the sport of sidecar motocross, you just never know. Those of us who've been involved in it for so many years realise the uncertainty both in men and machine. It happens all the time. That's why the riders welcome such a long season. Looking towards the checkered flag being ready. Marvin Van Lukena over Koen Hermans. Going to come through for second place. That's it, double bubble and 50 points for the Belgian, Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart. It's going to be third place here for Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. What a result. What a result. And the Latvian boys drop back a little bit further down the order, but no mistaking. Van Lukena Bax fought his way up to another good point scoring finish. He'll be happy with that. Good weekend as well for Gert van Verven. He has to be thrilled with a brand new passenger. And the British crews fared pretty well. Well, absolutely amazing. What a Grand Prix we've had in Talavera. Let's have a talk to the riders, but Robbie de Vena with Gert van Verven, what a start.
I feel amazing. It's my first podium ever. So, and to achieve it with Gert, it's the best feeling ever. We couldn't think of it, that it would happen. So yeah, we done a great job this winter. We trained a lot, physical, on the bike. And yeah, we gave it all today. It's a tough track, but you train for it all winter. So we try to make the best of it, but the last few minutes are tough. But that's when you need to show your mentality to still drive at your best.
Incredible result. He will be thrilled with that, but the other guys ahead of them, well, what can I say?
Unreal, yeah, can't believe it. I knew after yesterday, I thought, you know, we could be up here. And yeah, I was just hoping we had two good starts. It was so important on this track. But yeah, we got there in the end, and it's the first time for me and Brett for second overall. So really happy to be lying second in the world now. One of my greatest days, this is for sure. It was, yeah, so good. You know, we hadn't raced all year yet. It was the first race, so, you know, you're unsure how you're going to get on, but that second race was hot, hopefully. You know, just trying to get top 5 every race and just, you know, end up with a good number at the end of the year.
You'll notice we're talking to passengers this time. I often feel they don't get enough credit. Well, good effort, boys.
Like a first training together, and this winter it's like we ride already a long time together. And yes, this weekend we dominated, I think, all the weekend. And the goal was to make a good points, but yeah, 50 points, that's the maximum we can do. So we are really happy. We have really good team. I want to say big thanks also for the mechanics. They make a great job. And yeah, see you next time in Portugal. I'm a passenger on the track like this hard, so I can bring him, I think, some lines on the track like this. And but okay, like you say, Marvin is already a talent guy, and I think together we are strong, and the speed is here.
Can't say more than that, can you? Overall victory, second overall for Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. Absolutely terrific. Third for Gert van Verven. And Etienne Bax scored himself some respectable points, keeping him in the hunt. Very much so, and that will stand him in good stead when we go on to Portugal in just a few days' time, and these boys will fight all over again. I can't wait. I'm really, really looking forward to Grand Prix number 2. From me, Barry Nutley, and all of us here at WSC, we hope you enjoyed it. It's been a brilliant start to the new season, and what a season we have ahead of us. 14 rounds, 28 races. Do not miss one of them, because we won't.
I dream of a path that never was and ask why not. We never stop, still going when you finish. And even when we bleed, still believe that we can win this. We got what's underneath, you're all about that image. We never even stop at the top, no limits. Champions, and we're the champions. And we're the champions. And we're the champions. So bring it on.
Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin Van Lukenes certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.